Alright guys, back over with another video, and this time we're going to be going over my Red Ultra Instinct Universe 7 deck profile. And before we get into it, if you guys want to see some gameplay, I did stream gameplay from this on my channel. If you go to my YouTube or Twitch, you can watch gameplay on our Saturday Night Locals. Make sure you're following the Twitch if you haven't already. And look forward to seeing you guys at the streams, making comments, and letting us know when something goes wrong. There was a stream issue at the very beginning for like the first, I think, almost 20 minutes of the round one, and we did fix that at that point. So if you guys want to watch that stream, mute the first 20 minutes, and then after that, shortly after that, you should be able to hear that sound go away. So other than that, if you haven't already joined the Discord, make sure you join it. We are having a case tournament upon every release that we can basically, as long as we can get product. Shout out to Machado. But we're going to have a case tournament for AFG, and it's going to be held into the Discord. We do have a limited amount of spaces for this tournament, so make sure to sign up if you can. I know tomorrow is payday. If you're watching this on Friday, I'm sorry, on Thursday, tomorrow's payday for a lot of us. So go ahead and secure your spot and the first ever AFG case tournament for Realm of the Gods. And there can be other prize support added to the pool as well. Especially if we hit 64 players, I'll be throwing in a bunch of prize support. But let's go ahead and get into it. So on this leader, he's mainly set 14 and 16 cards and some previous Unison Warrior support cards from set 11 and set 10. So this is mainly a Unison Warrior based deck, which is nice for most new players. And there's some Mythic Booster reprints, which is really nice. But this is a leader that bursts, but since it's a red leader and it's not a black leader, there's no warping. So you can't warp from your drop, and that's what the permanent on the front side of the leader and the back side of the leader says. And then it has attack, draw card, standard, and then once per turn, activate main, which you can do on turn 1. And even if you're going first, burst 3, draw 1, then discard 1. Really nice filter, and it gets that burst mechanic live because you need a sparking for a lot of your card effects. So without the sparking, most of your cards don't do anything. So that burst makes it to where they do things. And if you have 7 or more Universe 7s in your drop area, which is really easy to do in this deck, you get to awaken whenever you want. Or if you get a 4 or less life, if you're playing against something that can hit you to the 4 that early, you can do that same type of awaken, which is nice. On the backside, Son Goku Supreme Warrior. It has that same permanent on the backside where you can't overwhelm. And then you get to activate main, draw 1 card, so you don't have to attack to draw a card on the backside. So on that awaken turn, you attack, draw 1, awaken, untap 1, draw 1, activate main, draw 1. And it also has a activate main Sparking 20. You can add 1 Universe 7 red from your drop area. It has to be mono red, add it to your hand, so you can't grab Beerus Super Combo or Awaken Power, which is okay. It's not really that important, especially for the way this deck's built. It's all mono red. And you had to negate that skill for the rest of the game after you use that activate main for Sparking 20. So this deck is 58 cards because you are needing a larger deck, which is not that important. I see a lot of people do play 60, but this is a 58 card build for now. You got 4 copies of your Searcher. Look at the top 5 cards, grab a 4 or less Universe 7 red card or a 2-cost Unison. Can grab a Unison in this build specifically the way I have it built. And if you combo with a skillless U7, you draw a card. Turn each player's turn, once per turn, while he's on the field. So, but that part doesn't really matter because I'm not playing skillless in this particular build. This is a set 16 staple for this deck. Limit 1, burst 1. If your leader is Universe 7 red, when this card is placed from the top of your deck to the drop area, you can burst 1, so mill 1, and then play him here, drop free. And if you play him for 1 from your hand, you draw a card. But otherwise, he's just a free body that can be used for combo fodder. 4 of your Unison, Piccolo Jr., Descendant of the King. This card's getting a slight reprint in the Fests, which is nice for a lot of these new players that are going to be attending these events for entry prizing. Really cool. And +1, draw 1. And if your opponent activates a counter skill, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with 15k or less. So basically, if they activate a counter skill with a battle card effect, you get to KO something, which is really nice. It's really good. And then it has a -2 that can also rejuvenate, which means you need to board wipe, and then you get to gain a life, which is really cool. It's a little more complicated than that, but that doesn't come up that often. Then you have your Universe 7 Sparking Super Combo. This card is live almost instantly, and it's a Universe 7, so you can grab it back from the drop area to your hand, which I did a lot. And you can see that on stream. Then you have 4 copies of Android 17 for the Universe's Survival. This card is a 1-drop double striker because it's Sparking 7, and then you get to look at the top 3 and grab any Universe 7 and add it to your hand. It's limit 1 for playing and for 1 energy if you have the 5 or more Universe 7s in your drop. And a lot of these cards will say that same type of effect. This one is a Sparking 7 counterplay, which is really cool for 1 energy since your leader is a red Goku. And you get to neg something 15k. If you do neg 15 it and it goes to the drop area afterwards, you get to draw a card. It's a really strong card for this specific build. It's a 19k body for 1 energy, and it kills something and draws a card in a lot of cases. So this is 3 different forms of Kaioken. Concentrated Destruction. This is the original, this is the Mythic Booster Alt Art, and this is the collection version. So I did play 3 copies of this. I see a lot of people playing 2, but I think the removal is really nice for this, especially against the Trunks deck. And you do need to get rid of that Trunks, the guy that rests your stuff as soon as possible every turn if you can. I even added back one of these from drop area to my hand one time just to get rid of them. But this card's really strong, and it's also a board weight for 20k or less when you play him for 3 with Deflect. And then he also gets rid of Lord Slug, which is really cool. Then you have Golden Frieza for the Universal Survival. This is a dual attacker for 1 energy, Sparking 7. And you get to minus 15k something when this card is played. It has limit 1, so 19k dual attack, really strong. Then I'm playing 4 copies of the Vegeta for the Universe's Survival. This is a 2 cost if you have Sparking 10. Pay 2 of any other energy, and then you get to play this guy. And then you get to draw a card, and then choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards. And minus 15 Ignoring Barrier. Really strong. Then this is where I probably could increase this to 4 copies because it really doesn't matter that much. Son Goku Divine Presence. This card is the most expensive card in the deck that is not a secret rare. And this is one of your important pieces, but it's so if you don't have this card and you have most of the other cards, you can still play this deck. You just have to fill in some spaces because you do need to play at least 58 cards, I do think, or you will deck out in a lot of matchups. So because I'm probably going to increase this deck's count to 60 just due to the fact that mill is a problem. Like even if you're milling yourself just a little bit and you stop, a lot of your cards do require you to have Sparking, and then if you don't get the Sparking 20, you won't be able to do certain things. So you do need to have a larger deck count. This card is Deflect, Dual Attack, and when he's played, you boost something 5k for the turn. So if it's your opponent's turn, you can do it on your leader, which is really good. A lot of times you want to play him on your turn because he can't be removed by skills during your turn, and it's really just a dual attack attacker. Then when he attacks, he boosts some 5k, which is really cool. So he's a 30k dual attacker for 2 energy as long as you comboed 2 red cards. And your boss, Son Goku Ultra Mastery. This is a Deflect double strike dual attacker that when it's played, you get to board wipe, basically 35k to everything on board. Does not ignore barrier, which is kind of unfortunate in certain matchups, but not that important because you have Vegeta. Then you have, when it attacks, you have Sparking 20. You get to look your opponent's hand and then choose one card with 7k or less. 7 costs or less, and place it in the drop area. And I did misplay with this the other night, and I realized it afterwards. But this card's really strong. You just have to make sure you're hitting the right card with it, and it is your boss. Also note it is 35k power, to remember that. 3 copies, you don't need 4, so 10k. You could play 4 if you really wanted to, though. 4 copies of Yamcha. I've seen people playing less. I don't think it's making any sense to play less than 4, especially whenever you're playing a larger deck count. At least seeing this card. If you see too many, you can discard them or charge them. So it's not like seeing multiple copies of this is going to really hurt you. This is your counterplay for the deck for free if you have a Unison on board. And it gets the neg 15 2 battle cards. Really strong. 1 King Piccolo, New Ruler. This card's limited to 1. It's a free card as long as you have a Unison with 3 or more markers, and they can't block. 20k double strike. And it leaves the board, goes to warp at the end of the turn. Really strong card. 2 After Image Technique, and 2 King Vegeta's Imposing Presence, as well as 2 Realm of the Gods Ultra Instinct. So these are the extra cards I'm currently playing. The ones that felt the best to me were the After Image Techniques. This is an old card, Sparking 5. You get to take a life and minus 10 something on your opponent's board, and then you give something 40k power for the battle. But that's really strong. This card can make something minus 10 for the whole turn, which is really good, especially if you have Yamcha or any other counterplay. So it helps you clear board and make something stay alive. So this is really good. So probably bump this up to at least 3 copies. It was really good every time I saw it. And then this is your Pseudo Senzu Bean, King Vegeta's Imposing Presence, because you can place for free from your hand by discarding a card for cost if you have 3 life or less. And it neg-10 something whenever it's doesn't negate the attack, but neg-10 something, and every time they want to attack with anything for the turn, you minus 5 something. So in combination with everything else that negs, this is a really strong card. And then you have Realm of the Gods Ultra Instinct. So on your opponent's turn, this card literally just says pay 1, draw 1 card, plus 10. So it's like unbreakable. And it also has a removal effect if it's your turn. So the card's really strong, but I'm not exactly sure if I want to play more than one of it going forward. So may replace 1 copy with a copy of the After Image Technique at minimum. And probably play some number of Violent Rays in the main deck because I didn't play any. 2 Broly Crown. This card was underwhelming the entire weekend, and I had a feeling it was going to be. That's why I dropped it down from 3 to 2 whenever I was playtesting hands. But it did come up a few times, and it can win in you some matchups. So it's not exactly the worst card in the world, but this card is probably best in the side deck. And if it's pre-side best of 1, you can always manipulate your deck before you play against certain matchups. So this card at least goes into your pre-sided 1 75 card list. And then you have 3 Koitsukai. This card was really strong a lot of times, but then sometimes it just doesn't come up. So I can see myself going down to 2 copies, but it doesn't hurt to have more copies. Just the way the deck plays, you can just burst these and discard them or whatever. And then the Secret Rare, since I didn't have Vegeta, I was playing SS4 Broly, the Great Destroyer. So this card is free. So if you do draw this card, and there's a lot of cycle in the deck, a lot of draw, so you will see this card a lot of times, or you'll draw from your life if you don't burst it. So because a lot of times you're going to burst it. That's what the powerful part about the U7 Secret Rare Vegeta, that you can grab it back to your hand. But if you see this and you grab back the big Goku, you play the Goku and then attack twice and then sack it off and play this. Everything on your opponent's board gets -5, and their combo power gets -5. So if they survive that, it's broken. Like this is just going to end the game anyways if they're at 2. But because it basically makes super combos 5k, and you can combo with the rest of your cards out of your hand. But you get to see their hand before you do that, so that's really strong. And I did misplay against the Trunks Vegeta. So if you want to watch that crazy game between me and Greg, shout out to Greg. But this card against his deck, he did have yellow. He did Final Flash, so the only reason why he got around it was Final Flash. But yes, this card's really strong and is a good replacement if you don't have Vegeta yet. It's not the worst card in the world. And I just played a little different because I had this and not Vegeta. So I would make sure that I didn't have to worry about like having this guy. So if I milled him, I'll just grab this back and then play him. But I only played this guy once the entire tournament, but it was only 3 rounds, so it's not really the best like data pool. But this card was really powerful the one time I played it, even though I did end up losing that game to my own error. So, and I wouldn't have lost if I wasn't talking to somebody else playing around. But yeah, the side deck, I had some red staples. Since I'm playing the 2-cost unison, I have Omen of Awakening. This is a free counterplay by taking a life. If you have a 2-cost unison in play, really strong card. I had 1 copy of Golemite because I didn't find the other copies, but this is removal for Sin Shinron. 4th Koitsukai, 2 Exploiting Weakness. You are playing a Universe 7 deck. This card is really good against Sin, so if the game drags out that long. And then you have 2 Raditz. This is for the Soul Striker deck. The Violent Rays 1 copy. I only have 1 copy currently in my possession. Hopefully I can get some of those collector versions soon. Three-testing opposition. I know a lot of people are wondering where this card was at in the list, but a lot of times you are sitting at 6 or 7 more life. So after image technique is most definitely better, and then 3 Wolfang Fists. These cards never actually came in because I was just trying to get a feel for the deck, and yeah, I didn't play against Sin Shenron, so I didn't need some of the other cards. I would have most definitely side decked if I played against that deck because you just need to. But yeah, thank you guys for watching the videos, and make sure you leave a comment and subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you join the Discord, check out the link tree, do all the good stuff, and especially the stuff that you can do without actually have to spending money. Anything helps. So we'll see you guys in the next video. And make sure you let me know what you guys want to see in more videos going forward, okay? Deuces.